Hi everyone, it's Raquel with 40 Day Family Legacy here. Today we're on day 36 of our Celebrate America 250 Years, and the scripture is Psalm 35:1. Plead my cause, O Lord, with those who strive with me. And that again is Psalm 35:1. It was used on September 4th, 1774. So it was during the convening of the First Continental Congress. They were meeting together and they had always started their day with prayer, and then there was some squabble about there were too many denominations, and then one guy stood up and said, well, I can say a prayer with anyone who is a friend of my country and, and of good virtue and an upstanding citizen. So they said the prayer, and it was Pastor Jacob Duché that was the one who gave the prayer, and he chose this scripture, and everyone couldn't believe that it was such a scripture, and they said it was providence. That's the word that we use today is probably divine to describe what they mean by providence. And he was asking, basically pleading their cause to protect them from people who fight with them, because they had heard a rumor that later on was determined untrue, but they were under the impression that day that Boston was under attack. So they were praying for that too, and this reverend prayed a very long, eloquent prayer, and it was so powerful that men were crying, some were on their knees. And John Adams wrote this in a letter to his wife, and this is a quote. So, Mr. Duché appeared and read several prayers in the stabilized form, and then read the collect for the 7th day of September, which was the 35th Psalm. You must remember this was the next morning after we heard the horror rumor of the cannonade of Boston. I never saw a greater effect upon an audience. It seemed as if heaven had ordained that psalm to be read on that morning. After this, Mr. Duché unexpectedly to everybody struck out into an extemporary prayer, which filled the bosom of every man present. I must confess that I never heard a better prayer or one so well pronounced. Such fervor, such ardor, such earnestness and pathos, and in a language so elegant and sublime for America, for the Congress, for the province of Massachusetts Bay, and especially for the town of Boston. It had an excellent effect on everybody there. End quote. I just am still just in awe over how our country, that these things went on in our Congress. And this Mr. Reverend Duché chaplain, he ended up being America's first congressional chaplain. So they actually had such a thing back then, that a chaplain would come in and pray to start out the day in our workings of our government. And who would have thought that that's how it happened? And this is just, I don't know, it's such a beautiful thing. And as we're, celebrating our country's 250th birthday, you're looking at a silhouette of a modern day military personnel, because it could be just about any one of them. I don't want to, name one and not the others. And with our flag in the background, that, we fought people in our country, not us, but fought to give us the privilege to fly this flag and to celebrate on July 4th every year. And I just think that it's just profound. I really like that word providence too. So I want to leave you with that, and I just hope that you are in a happy mood to celebrate America this year, and that you're thankful for the country that you live in and the privileges and the duty and even the responsibilities that you have as a citizen. So with that, I want to bid you good night or good evening or good day, whenever you're watching this, and a happy family building.